this machine actually disengages like it's supposed to. Finding a pink bobbin to go with the pink thread to make a pink baby sling. Going in between the tension discs. Click this up into place. Time to pick up the bobbin. Down to pick up the bobbin thread. Up to pick up the bobbin thread. There it is. My fabric that is about 38 inches wide instead of 33. I want to put some padding on the side a little bit. Folding the edges over to do the first hem. I'll do this all the way around with all four sides, and then I'll fold it under a second time. Do a second hem. When I fold it over the second time, I'll be putting a little bit of batting along two of the sides. I cut a piece of batting that's about 3.5 inches wide, and I'm starting about 12 inches from the end, and I will pin it in place all the way down. The batting is about almost 40 inches long, maybe about 38 inches long. I will pin this, I will sew it down both sides, and maybe even one or two in the middle to make sure it's held in place. Back stitch to lock stitches in place. Leaving enough of an edge so that when I fold it over and stitch down, I'll have a little bit of clearance there. Stopping at the corner with the needle down, raise the presser foot so that I can pivot the fabric and sew down this edge as well. I'm pretty much keeping the edge of this batting with the edge of the presser foot. And don't forget to remove all of the pins. So now I'm folding over the edge that has the batting. As you can see, here is the batting, about 3.5 inches wide. I stitched it on both sides, and I'm folding it over and just sewing down like that. So this will have a nice padded edge that will help with stability and some little softness for the little baby inside the baby wrap. Doing the same with the second side. Same size of batting, starting at the 12 inches from the edge like the first side, and just pinning it down for side 2. I'm back at the vintage sewing machine. This is my white sewing machine that is actually a dusty rose beige, pinkish beige. One of our projects, my husband and I, is making wooden bases for the vintage sewing machines. This one does not have a wooden base yet, so it's just sitting on a towel, which means sometimes it does still scoot a little bit. But it'll be nice when I get them all into wooden bases. It'll be easier to use them. It'll be easier to move them. I won't get the occasional scooting across the table or have to worry about the metal feet making marks on anything. That's why I have a towel under it right now. Now that I'm sewing on the other side of all of this fabric, and I'll have lots of fabric going through the middle of here, I put my magnetic pin holder just right up there in the front. Kind of nice, these old vintage machines are all metal, so I can put a magnetic light anywhere I want on it, or the magnetic pin holder anywhere I want. This here's probably the trickiest part of sewing the baby sling. It's not really that tricky either. So I have these two rings here. They are actually sling rings. You take the edge of one of the short edges, and you just put it through both rings. The tricky part is getting all of this fabric through. Fold it over like that. The edge is folded under to keep from fraying. The edge has also been zigzag stitched, so you just pull it through a little bit at a time. I don't worry if it's a little bit wrinkled because it's going to be all gathered anyway. So you just continue to pull this through and sew it over the two rings together. You'll eventually have to do a lot of bunching up as you go along. And as you see, as we're getting here close to the end, I can get the light in here a little better. All the fabric is getting all bunched up. We're almost to the end. I am folding the corner so that when I fold it like that, there's not going to be any of the raw edges that'll be showing. So yep, just gather it all up and squish it all up in there. And just sew around the edges, pull a little bit through, squish a little bit up. So here is the finished baby sling. Padded edges on these two sides. So when the baby's in here, just be a little bit nicer and sturdier to have padded edges. So here are the two rings. Here's the inside where the baby would go. Take the end from the other end. Kind of pull this fabric down a little bit. Get the ends pulled through both rings like that. Separate the two rings, fold this under and pull it through. There you have it. This part will go at the shoulder, and the baby will go inside of it.